So, welcome to Net on Music, and today we're going to talk about the 60s band called Blackburn Snow, which is a folk rock duo which had the potential to change rock and roll history since the female lead vocalist Sherry Snow was actually supposed to be the female lead singer in the Jefferson Airplane. She turned down that role to stick to Blackburn Snow project. And the Jefferson Airplane finally hired Grace Slick. Of course, we all know how it went. So I think it's very interesting to see how this project of Blackburn Snow turned out and why Sherry Snow decided to stick to it instead of joining the already famous band Jefferson Airplane. So let's start. The musical duo consists on Jeff Blackburn, which is a guitar player and composer, and Sherry Snow, who's a singer. They met in San Francisco and eventually became a couple. And since Blackburn was looking for a band and Sherry was a good singer and she was actually sharing an apartment with some of the band members of Jefferson Airplane, she was also inclined towards started doing her own stuff. So they got together as boyfriend and girlfriend and also as bandmates. They created Blackburn Snow, where Jeff would write the songs and create the musical arrangements, usually just him on the guitar, and Sherry would sing. The duo has amazing blends of male-female vocals, and Jeff's writing is very versatile. He can write the saddest folk songs and the funniest pop songs, pop tunes of the 60s. They also knew how to choose their covers, so they started touring on different clubs and bars, even headlining on The Matrix, which was the band that belonged to Marty Balin, who is Jefferson Airplane's lead vocalist and leader. He also performed at Fillmore East and all the main stages in the San Francisco music movement. So they became actually very well known. Trident Records was actually very excited about working with this band and signing them, but first they wanted to test how it went with a couple of singles, so they recorded a David Crosby song called Stranger in a Strange Land, which is very funny because David Crosby denied having written that song, but he was known to write under pseudonyms. We don't know why he denied it so much until in 2010 or something. They were trying to release some demos of the Byrds and they found an instrumental for Stranger in a Strange Land, so it was actually his song. I don't know why he said it wasn't him, or he couldn't remember it or whatever. They released that single and then they released a second single, this time a song penned by Blackburn called Time. None of the singles chart. Still, the producer from Trident Records thought Blackburn Snow were going to be the next big thing, so he stuck to them. They started doing some studio work in order to seduce Trident into letting them release an album, and Trident decided to finance these recording sessions for the possible album. It's during this time that Sherry Snow gets the invitation by her former roommates from the Jefferson Airplane, because Jefferson Airplane had a lead singer called Signe Anderson, but she became pregnant and decided to leave rock and roll music in order to build a family. And the most natural choice for the guys in Jefferson Airplane was to summon Sherry Snow, who was their close friend and was also singing, and actually she has an amazing voice, so she would be like a really good fit for the band. But Sherry decided to stick to the Blackburn Snow project, and Jefferson Airplane ended up asking Grace Slick, who was actually, they were thinking she was going to be a sure no because she was performing on the band The Great Society, which she had made herself with her husband and brother-in-law, so it was kind of a family thing, and it was really hard to believe that Grace was going to leave that behind. But she did, and you know what happened with that? They became world famous, and Grace Slick became one of the biggest stars in rock and roll history. So back to Sherry and Jeff, they stuck to the Blackburn Snow project. They started recording the album with songs that were majorly written by Jeff, and the song selection showed the versatility of Jeff's songwriting. There were like the slow, sad ballads, the romantic songs, the strong rock folk music, kind of with a psychedelic all kind of mix. Funny thing is, the backing band they used to perform their rock songs was the same band the Monkees used on their first album, so it was kind of the Monkees but with different vocals. Sounds really cool. But during the recording session, they started coming in conflict, the couple with the producer and the engineer, and also the couple started struggling romantically as well. So in the end, all this infighting in the studio ended up with the project being shelved and the couple separating. So that was the end for Blackburn Snow. Even though Jeff tried to stick to music, he didn't have any, let's say, relevant musical act other than joining the Ducks, which is a band with Neil Young, I think in the 70s or 80s, which is like a very long time after Blackburn and Snow broke up. And Sherry Snow became one of the 2 female singers in a project called Dan Hicks and his called Licks, I think. They released Canned Music, the first album, which features Sherry on almost every song, and I think she does an amazing job. And then I think she faded into obscurity, and she came out again in the 2000s, and she was kind of this, I'm not sure if I should say hippie or I don't know, but she changed her name and she was like, I don't know, I think her name was Sherry Sunshine or something like that. And she's still alive, and I think she has like a podcast or something. I'm not really sure, kind of lost track of her. And Jeff Blackburn died a short while ago, I think it was in 2020. And Sherry Sunshine, I'm making that up, I'm not really sure, but she changed her last name, it's not Snow anymore. And she released a statement on her Facebook page letting everyone know that Jeff had died. So that's the end of it. It so happens that in 1999, somebody got the great idea to get together all the singles released and the B-sides and all the recordings during that time. They were trying to make an album, put it all together and release it as an album of the very first album from Blackburn and Snow called Something Good for Your Head. And I think it's a very good recording. I think it lets you get a glimpse of what a great band they were, what a great duo they were. Their vocals are amazing. Jeff writes amazing, good songs, and Sherry is an amazing singer. As I said before, their vocal blends are just out of this world. So I think everybody should give it a listen. Probably the most known song is Stranger in a Strange Land, which was the single and also the opening track on this album. But I also have a couple of suggestions. And here we go. The second track called Yes Today. Yes Today, not yesterday. I'm sorry, I have a pronunciation problem. It's a really good song. Unchain My Heart is like a really fast tempo song, really cool, as well as Uptown Downtown, which is really cool. Some Days I Feel You're Loving is one of the songs I keep listening to non-stop, which is a very sad folk ballad featuring just a couple on vocals and Jeff on acoustic guitar, which is kind of the thing I like the most when it comes to folk rock. Post-War Baby is another up-tempo, very funny song written by Blackburn. Sad song called I Recall the Day, which again features just a couple and an acoustic guitar. And Every Day Brings Better Things would be my last recommendation, which is a full band song performed with the Monkees and Blackburn and Snow. It's funny song. I think it would be a great way to end the album, which is where I actually stopped listening to the album because they feature like 6 tracks more or something. Just give it a try. I think it's really worth it. And I think it's really cool to imagine what would have happened to rock and roll history had Sherry said yes to the Jefferson Airplane proposition. So let me know what you think about this band. I hope you enjoyed this musical review. This is my very first video, so if you can write in the comments what you think of it, I'm gonna love it. So see you in the next video. Bye!
Strange land.